Hi, everyone. Give us a few minutes. We are working on some technical challenges in our panelists area. So we're going to be promoting a bunch of people to panelists, and then we'll get started right in about 5 minutes.
Okay, hey, Jessica, we're live, so we're having a little bit of trouble promoting our panelists to get into the panelist side of things. So
Actually, I don't, out of those 20 plus people, I
I
don't
don't
see.
see Jim or
Paul
Mohi or
just
I see
Paul
Jim.
just emailed me.
we see Gloria.
Yeah, Gloria's in the.
Oh, I see Jim. Yeah, Jim.
Okay, I promoted Jim, but let me try. Paul isn't on either. Let me get him.
Oh, sorry. Hey, Jim, you're in the panel now, so not sure what the issue was, but we're
Yeah, there's Mohi.
It's just subtle bias against people who don't always wear blue shirts. And so I put my blue shirt on thinking it would help.
and it did, right?
It did.
No,
Well,
Hey,
till like this minute it did, but not until then.
Mohi, we're live with everybody right now because we were having trouble with getting our panel convened.
Yeah,
Yeah, no worries.
Jim, did the link I sent you, the last link I sent you, did that help? I sent it via email. Or do you not know how you got on?
I don't know. I just logged into anything that had a number or name on it and
Okay.
tried things, and then somebody decided to promote me. And so
Yeah.
here I am.
There's Mohi.
Hey, folks. Ooh, 48 people already. Nice.
and they can hear us. So
Yeah.
Right. So we're
Oh, yeah.
live.
I mean, if I said
It's great to
something
see
bad,
everybody.
yeah, hold your tongue, Jim. Exciting stuff. There you go.
Mohi, I did some editing to your PowerPoint earlier. I just want to make sure, did I edit the right thing?
We we shall find out. I I couldn't tell, but I think so. I saw
Okay.
Jim's edits from earlier today, so that got taken care of. But there was only one link.
Yeah, go ahead and do a couple. There should be like Discord and then executive director's minute.
No, I did not see that.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's right. Because I changed that front screen to say May, June uh, meeting.
Was it perhaps an older version?
I don't know. It originally said May. So I thought, and that was the only one that I could see in there.
Oh no, there's the June one.
There wasn't when I went in.
the only way in was the link that Nogi posted on Discord. If you didn't notice that, then you were not going to find it.
So, Moe, are you not keeping it in the same folder you're keeping all the others?
It is.
Well,
It's in all of the other ones.
There's April, February, January, June town hall, June volunteer town hall, March town hall, and there's a May, June town hall. Crap.
Oh no, there's a June Town Hall one.
You said June Town Hall, didn't you, Andy?
Well, there's a June town hall, and there's now a June town hall, but there's the May, June town hall that's the one I edit.
Well, I
I
guess
didn't.
you're gonna have to ad lib once we get to a slide where you wanted to insert it there, Andy.
It's really important to convey the message that we know what we're doing.
That's right. We're locked on.
Well, we've got 88
Yes.
people out there, and it's 7 o'clock, Mohi. I don't know if you want to get started.
Yeah.
Give me a second, guys. I can get it edited real quick. So
Okay.
I got my slides, and I'm going to go back and open up the June Town Hall.
So for all the students that are online and everyone else, this is ESRA being agile. So
Hey,
So-
it's all about how you
We
respond
know
to
how-
adversity. That's right. It's just another life lesson.
All right. Where do you want me to insert it?
before the certification flights, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Right there. Right clicky. Pasty wasty. Match styles.
All right, great
Okay.
attendance.
I should, hopefully it's saved.
I see your slide, the one that popped in now.
Yeah, there should be like 6 or 7 slides I added into it.
Not yet. Only the first one's in. Refresh.
Oh, good attendance.
All right, close yours, Mohi.
Okay. Let me copy the link. Okay, I closed my tab.
Okay. Let's make sure director's minutes, all those are in there. I'm going to close mine. Okay, you should be able to open it now. And
But when you pasted it, could you see the 6 slides on your side?
yeah, when I opened up the June version.
It's opening.
If not, it is what it is, and we'll make it work one way or
Let's
the other.
get going. Yep.
Yeah, no, I still see just the one. Okay. I mean, you can share the screen, Andy, if you have that, and we can swap over to your screen then.
Okay.
Ooh, 144 participants. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's a record. Woohoo!
So, hey, folks, it is a little past 8, so we're gonna get started right now. A couple of key things. There is a Q&A section. If you haven't seen that yet, please keep the questions there. Even if it's a small question, I'm sure it'll get your question answered, and it'll also help everyone else who might be thinking the same thing. With that, welcome to the June Town Hall, the very last town hall for the 2026 IREC year. After this one, we shall meet you all in Texas. And then the next town hall will be when we kick off for the 2027 IREC year. So without further ado, we've got quite a stacked agenda, so we'll try to keep things rolling, and we'll get to Q&As at the very end. And in the meantime, other volunteers and other ESRA folks will be monitoring it and answering as they come in as well. So here's a rough overview of the schedule. But before we begin, I had a first off to do. So first off, IREC would not be possible without all the dedicated volunteers that make up ESRA. So I personally wanted to thank every incredible ESRA volunteer. Your passion fuels this competition, which is the IREC. So a short saying which I came up with was the dedication and hard work of each and every one of you literally gives the students opportunity to reach new heights. So thank you, everyone. Meet the volunteers. This is quite an important one now that this is the final one, and we'll be seeing y'all next time at IREC. Hopefully, you've seen everyone throughout the year, but a couple of key ones to remember is Steve and Stephanie. So Steve, if you just want to say hi, you'll pop up on everyone's screen.
Hey, everybody. Glad you're here. Looking forward to meeting you all when we head out to Midland, Texas.
Stephanie.
Also saying hi. I can't wait to see everybody in a very, very short time, week and a half.
Andy.
And by the way, Steve is the president of ESRA, and Stephanie is the actual person in charge. She is the event manager.
She's the first lady, Andy. She's the first lady.
The first lady. There you go. And I'm the executive administrative assistant. Hi.
Ben.
I don't know if I've seen Ben.
Okay. Ben is ESRA's board member and secretary. So Ben's that. Then up next is Jim, who you've all seen, who is ESRA's RSO. Jim.
I'll just say that Steve is wrong. Stephanie is in fact the boss. I gave her a new email address, by the way.
I saw that.
Oh
very
my gosh.
fortunate. I am, and Ezra is very fortunate.
Thank you.
Myself from Launch Ops side, Anita from the competition operations side. Anita, I don't know if Anita was able to join in.
I think she's still away with the family thing.
So I'm sure you've seen Anita before and also on Discord. Chad, who's the facilities and support services coordinator.
He is not able to join tonight.
David, our LCO, who you've seen in the past as well. Mandy, our treasurer. I don't know if Mandy is sweet.
I'm here.
Mandy,
Hi, I do not have a functioning camera. I apologize, so you will not get to see my face. But you can find me. I'll be wandering around the event most of the time. I'm the treasurer, so once the event starts, the biggest thing for me is I just pay the money for things.
So that's why Mandy's hidden, so she can find you all and be like, "Where's the payment?"
Sneak out. You owe me money.
Up next, from live stream and media side, we've got Jessica.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you, and we look forward to seeing you in 10 days.
And lastly, the other crucial person is Jamie, who is on the registration side. She's the registration coordinator. I don't know if Jamie is online.
I don't think so. I think she is actually away.
Sweet. So these are some of the critical ones. As we kick things off in Texas, you'll physically see them. So come say hi to not just us, but everyone else as well. Over to you, Andy.
Awesome. All right. What is the next slide? Just to double check.
Not your slide, I believe.
Not my slide. Great. Okay. Go ahead and unshare, and I will share mine, and we will somehow meet in the middle. Give me, sorry guys, patience, please. Why are you not doing what I want you to do? Okay. 30 seconds and I will be there. Of course, that didn't work either. Almost there. Townhalls.
Well, this is uncomfortable.
Sorry. Okay. I did do my slide deck, I promise. Okay. I've got it where I need it and get back into here and share. There we go.
And Andy, just before you go ahead, we do now have both Anita and Jamie on the panel. So I thought let's just take a second and let them say hello so that they also appear. So Anita, are you there?
I am. Thanks, Stephanie,
I know
for
every,
moving me up. But yeah,
Oh.
excited to see everyone again. Comp Ops really deals with all the judges that you will see, not necessarily your flight safety reviewers. So please keep that in mind. My judges read your technical reports, and we'll do the design and building quality on that Tuesday of competition. So can't wait to see all of you in less than a week now, or a little bit more than a week. But yeah.
great. And Jamie.
Hello, all. It's great to be on with you all, and I've been working tediously getting all the registration squared away. So I will say for any who are on, if you do not have a current valid Triple membership, please do so like within the next 48 hours. That would be fantastic. And hopefully we have everything perfect and we roll smoothly the morning of the 15th. Thanks.
Thanks, Andy.
Awesome. Okay, I'll run through my slide deck real quick. So we're going to talk about a little bit with the Sunday certification launch and volunteer fun fly. We did get a fairly decent number of registrations for that. The deadline for signing up as a student for a certification flight has passed, so you can no longer, if you did not register, you unfortunately missed that and you'll have to wait till next year. Volunteers, you can still register and you can still participate both in the certification launch and the fun fly. The registration form is still open and available for you guys. All right. So registration is required. Again, no new student registrations. I just said all that. Sorry. But there is the link again for the volunteers if they'd like to sign up. If a student would like to volunteer and just be I guess part of Launch Ops crew, we could always use more help. So yes, you could register in that facet, but at this point it's too late, unfortunately, to sign up as a certification flight. Any questions? Send them to general.info@ESRA Rocket. Also, if you are doing particularly an L3 flight, which we have quite a few of those, we need everyone to please send an email to General Info with an update on your status. We're getting some information flying all around that oh yeah, I did register, but I'm not going to fly, or I completed my certification flight successfully somewhere else. So if you need to cancel your status, or at least just give us an update on your status, please send an email to General Info. And move to the next one. So here are some of the rules for the Sunday launch for those that have registered. Please make sure you plan to arrive early. Don't show up at noon expecting that you're definitely going to get in. So while we only have probably 38 or 40 registered at this point, there still could be a few more, and there could be other issues that pop in. So I would certainly plan on arriving earlier rather than later. L3 attempts, if you haven't already, you must contact the range safety team as soon as possible. And as of today, we have had a change. The range safety person and primary certification officer is going to be Mr. Jim Jarvis. Jim, are you okay with that? I didn't get a chance to check with you.
I am, and I'm happy to report that anyone doing a certification off a 1010 rail will have a brand new rail to fly off of, courtesy of Steve Taylor.
Good deal. So I believe we're going to have 3 1010 rails, at least at one point we were. May change. We'll have some 1515 rails also. And again, we've got to be flexible on this. This is the first year of us doing this, so we appreciate everyone's patience on this. If you'd like to be a pad manager, range safety, launch control officer support, let us know, and we can always use more help. If you completed your flight and you recovered your rocket, you'd like to spend some more time helping others fly, we'll definitely appreciate the support. All of those with the L1 Wildman kit that purchased those, we will be meeting Saturday somewhere in Midland as soon as we get that address. There's only a few of you, so we will get that information out immediately. Attendance at the Saturday build session is required. So if you don't make it to the Saturday build, you're not going to be able to fly your level 1 kit. So just letting you know now. Let's see. Also the motors, all of those motors, if you pre-ordered those with Wildman, those will be available as well. So next thing is some of the rules. So the site will open up at 8 a.m. on Sunday. The range will open at 9 a.m. and closes at 4 p.m. or earlier if we've completed all the flights. There is a 30,000-foot waiver. AAA membership is required. Range safety inspections for all rockets. That includes the fun fly rockets. Everything will get inspected just as if it were a normal AAA launch. To fly on Sunday, you must pre-register. Again, we talked about that a little bit earlier. For the volunteers, it's still available. Students, it's too late. So student competitors only launch certification attempts. They can or level 3 pre-flights. And we need to know about those. So hopefully you've already pre-registered for those. They're not allowed to do the fun flights. Maybe next year when they volunteer, they could. So we'll move on. ESRA volunteers can do both certifications and fun flights. And for those few that are doing L1 and wanting to do their L2, you must complete your L2 exam on site. I think I've spoken to just about everybody so far that's interested in doing that. So it's going to be a very, very busy day for you guys. The level 3 attempts must be reviewed beforehand by the range safety and certification officer. And they must be very happy with your design and your build plan and your rocket. And you must have prearranged TAP witnesses on site. So we just want to make sure that when you do show up ready to go with your big old level 3 rocket, that everything is set up and you're going to have the greatest success. Process for certification, you'll bring your rocket motor to the launch site. If you have a rocket, make sure it's ready to fly. No last second building at the launch site. If you have to do some minor repairs, that's one thing. But we don't want to see anybody laying down epoxy a few minutes before launching. That's just not going to fly. Again, we talked about the Wildman kits. Won't go over that again. Once you do complete your successful flight or even unsuccessful flight, you're still going to bring the rocket back to basically the certification officer, the range safety inspection area. We just want to check it over real quick and ensure that you did recover it. Any lost rockets we want to have documented. And plus, if you are successful, then we will assist you right then and there with completing your paperwork and getting it submitted to AAA before you leave. Let's see. Last thing, Wildman, a couple of tidbits from Wildman. If you haven't already, pre-order any black powder igniters, anything that's energetic from that standpoint, and that will be delivered on site. His energetics policy, that motors, black powder, and igniters will only be handed out to advisors, flyers of records, or mentors. So they're not planning on, at this point, on handing out motor kits and that kind of stuff to student members of the team. That's his policy, and I'm not going to argue with him. So here's the one change that's going to occur for the motor building session this year. In years past, the motor, if you see the south side of this picture, the entrance in the parking lot, motor building was over on the left side in that separate building. This year, as you enter the building, to go to the Motorman motor building area, you'll go to your right, and you'll go basically outside, basically where we took the mass photo, that green area there, and that building that's circled in red, there will be signs, plenty of signs that are showing you how to get there. And that building circled in red, that will be where Motorman and Aerotech are doing the motor build sessions. There is a form. There is an appointment form that's available. We'll be posting this on Discord and on our website as well. So if you are wanting to participate in the build session and pick up your motor, you'll need to schedule a time, and you have sessions available to you, 9 a.m. to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. Then they take a lunch break and start back up at 1 and go to 3. 3 teams max per session. So you need to go ahead and register your team just once. Please only register your team once, like your team captain or some lead on the team do that. And once that's registered, we'll have you show up at that particular time, and you will be able to pick up your motor and have supervised build session of that motor, so you'll have the best chance of success and no more KATOs. Let's see, some quick flyer record guidelines. A couple of things that have popped up just recently, and I'm almost done, guys, that have sort of created some challenges and issues. Student teams are highly, highly recommended to please pay for the travel expenses and food of their flyers of record. Some flyers of record will say, don't worry about it, this is covered, etc. But if you agreed to, as a student team, to cover those expenses with that flyer of record, you have to follow through on that. You can't at the last second say, hey, we can't cover those expenses, and change your flyer record at the last second. That is extremely poor behavior. And flyer records are going to let us know about that, and it will reflect poorly on your team. So, everyone's struggling with the challenges of financial and trying to make cover all the expenses involved in the trip. But if you agreed to pay for your flyer records expenses, then you need to follow through with that. Flyer records on the opposite side, they should not be requesting any additional service fees or anything above those travel expenses and food. There was no understanding between any of the flyers record that I've spoken to that they should be paid anything above and beyond what those travel expenses and food expenses are. So if a student team is running into that situation, we need to know about that as well. And again, if a flyer record runs into a situation after the event where the student team is failing to pay for those expenses, we need to know about it. And the same vice versa. If a flyer record's asking for additional fees and the team doesn't feel that those are appropriate, please contact ESRA immediately. And then last thing, bring state and country flags. We ask that, if you you can bring school flags, which would be okay. But we would like to see the U.S. state flags. In a lot of our mass group photos, we see lots and lots of international country flags, but we don't see really any U.S. flags. So this year, we're hoping that the U.S. teams bring at least their state flag or a official flag of their university, which would be pretty cool. Again, reminder: don't bring any flags or symbols that are not specific to your country or U.S. state. Just nothing that's politically motivated, anything that might upset other groups of people. Let's keep it very apolitical, keep it very straight up. Represent your country, represent your university, and that's it. And so, failure to comply and the result of that will be the team's removal from the competition in the site. So just being real clear on that so we don't have any more problems as we have in the past. I think that is it for me. So I will stop the share. Let me just double check it. Okay, back to you, Mo.
Thanks, Andy. Let me go back. Up next, we should have a slide on international receiving. So this is for all the teams that have shipped stuff to our shipping and handling folks, which is Legacy Artificial Lift Solutions. It's the same thing as last year. So right beside the pavilion, so very short drive between the two. They've got their pickup hours listed here, but it's also on the IMS. So check that out. They're basically working Monday, Friday, Sunday, and then again Monday. So that's your window. The working days, it's basically during their working hours. And Friday or Sunday is the only day. They're taking Saturday off. Please try not to be there right before they close. They're helping us out quite immensely. So be mindful of that and don't go in at 3:50 and trying to find all your packages and stuff will be quite a hassle for them. And then after that, kicking off right beside the Legacy, we've got our pavilion. Here's a rough map for the space. Similar to last year with a few changes overall. We'll be posting that officially on Discord and on our website. So keep an eye on for that once it gets finalized and released. But overall, it's very similar to last year. But speaking of the pavilion, there is a ban in place, which is no energetics and no motors are allowed inside the pavilion building itself. So keep that at your Airbnb, leave that there. The only exception is when the motor building opportunity will be happening in the other building. That's the only area where motors are allowed. When you're bringing in your rocket, you should not be bringing in any energetics or any motors. The other thing to keep in mind is there shouldn't be any unattended transmissions when you're doing the live telemetry and live video challenge as well. The only time when you should be turning on your transmission is when you're at the table alongside the media folks, alongside Jessica and her team. Outside of that, it should always remain off. I forgot to delete the word draft, but it is still a draft technically. So in order to get to the IREC launch site, there's a couple of different ways to come in. There is the main route, which is the north way, and then there's the alternate, which is the south way. I think most teams, for a good chunk, if you're coming in from the Midland side, you'll be coming in the north way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The alternate way is also a good path. It's a little bit less eventful with turns, so more straighter of an approach. I don't know, Steve, if you want to chime in on this slide.
No, I mean, that's essentially the northern entrance is the one most folks will use, but that alternate pathway is the roads have been repaired, and so where there were big washes and that sort of thing, it's now a little bit of a smoother ride. But be careful. Maybe deflate your tires a little bit because we had a lot of flats last year. That's
So
it.
there will be a Jim Jarvis Award for most flat tires this year. And so keep track of those and let us know.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Jim, for the award category.
I'm not going to be driving between the oil facilities at 70 miles an hour this year. So
That's a good plan.
It sounds like Jim's giving up on winning the award again this year. So, okay.
So zooming in a little bit, here's the site layout map that we have for the IREC launch facility itself. It's very similar to what we've shown before. So if you're coming in from the north, you're passing through the quarry, you're coming all the way down to 5, and then the entrance is at 6. We'll be posting this again on our website and sharing it. So keep an eye out on that for that file. But once you enter, we've got the main operations area, and then the pad areas, 2-stage on the left, solids alongside hybrids as well on the right. Then each of those areas will have a prep or a communications area. So those are highlighted here. So 2-stage, solids. This will also be the certification launch area, and then the hybrids area as well. So certification launch area is this side. Zooming in a little bit more into the operations area, here's one that we are currently working with. Very similar to last year, except we've tried to optimize it a little bit more, so folks aren't needlessly walking around too large of a distances to get from one point to another. So we've consolidated things a little bit more. From the back to the front, we've got parking, and then we start getting into the student operations area, so where you all will be setting up, getting prepped, and then as we walk forward, you'll come into the ESRA area where we have our operations area on the left alongside queues, and then the main ESRA area, which will be reserved for ESRA folks. And then on the right, you've got our sustenance food trucks alongside our sponsors, alongside our fantastic merch table and tent, and alongside our spectators, which y'all can hype them up and keep them intrigued to return back next year, hopefully as volunteers or as competitors. Stephanie, did you want to chime in on this, on tents or anything along those lines?
Yes, just real quick. This is a fairly ready map. We will be making a few more tweaks to it, but one thing we want to mention, and we will post this to make sure it's everyone knows that there will not be enough tents to cover every team this year. A lot of tent companies just don't have that inventory. It's a significant amount of tent coverage still, but due to the fact that international teams would have the most difficulty bringing their tents with them, we're going to really prioritize. International teams will definitely get a space underneath the tents that we provide. It may be a little bit more snug than it has in past years, but we do want to make sure that we offer that. And there will be tables for everyone. And certainly any team that is within driving distance, bringing your own pop-up might be really helpful. We have plenty of areas, as you can see on the operations area on the south side, plenty of area to put up the tents. So that is kind of what our thought process is. And I'm also trying to find the best food trucks ever so that you won't even think about being out in the desert. I'm actually trying to bring out some dessert trucks that have ice cream or ices. So we'll see if we can come up with that. But it's going to be great. I'm sure it will work out just fine. Thanks, Mohi.
Thanks, Stephanie. Yeah, if you have any questions, folks, just a reminder, the Q&A section is open. Please post it there and we'll get to it shortly. A couple of key points on this is obey all federal and local laws. If you get into a pickle with that, we can't really help you. Same thing goes for speeding and following the speed limit. Please drive carefully coming into the site and also on the roads itself. Please drive slowly and be mindful of that. The other key thing is when ESRA folks provide instructions, please follow it promptly and immediately. We'll get into this from the operations or launch ops side of things shortly, but failure to not do so can result in point penalties being imposed. So be mindful of that, folks. Another banned slide. So no Starlinks are allowed on the IREC launch site itself this year. So if you do plan to bring them to the competition, please leave them at the Airbnb. Don't bring them over to the launch site. We'll unnecessarily cause extra strain on our services, and we need to prioritize just making sure we provide you with the best experience possible. So don't bring Starlinks to the launch site itself. Keep them at your Airbnbs. The second thing is no unnecessary transmission when y'all are getting prepped for live video or live telemetry challenge, and also same thing for your GPSs. And for frequency allocations, we'll get into that. So keep that at a very minimal throughout the pit and the launch site area. The schedule, if you all don't know this yet, we'll quickly go through it. So Monday is the early check-in day, which is June 15th. We'll also be kicking off flight safety reviews that day. So if you're ready to go, if your flight of record is there and your team's all set up, our recommendation is get in the queue for flight safety and get that done with. It's a pretty crucial milestone that every team needs to do. So try to get that done as early as possible. Tuesday is the official day one of IREC. It'll start off with the opening ceremony, and then the poster and podium session day is also happening that day. And it's also day 2 of the flight safety reviews if you didn't already do yours on Monday. Following that, Wednesday to Saturday is pretty similar of a schedule. We've got the first launch day kicking us off on the Wednesday. It'll have a sunrise plus salvo, which will also happen on every other day for the rest of the week. And we'll get into what sunrise salvos are shortly. And then finally, the Saturday is kind of like a half a day where we'll have launches in the morning. And then we've got our amazing award ceremony planned for the evening. So that's a little different for the Saturday. In terms of the locations, the first day, which is the Saturday, in this case for certification flights, that'll be happening at the Pavilion in Midland. Following that on Sunday, which is the launch day, that'll be happening at the launch site. Then the 15th and the 16th, the Monday, Tuesday, is back at the Midland, so Pavilion, alongside Saturday, which is the award ceremony again, back in Midland. The rest of the days, the launch days are all happening at the launch site. So that's the rough breakdown quickly for it. Ooh. Up next, the path to launch. This is quite a critical one. But in order for any team to launch, you all need to make sure you all have been judged by the competition officials. This is not flight safety review. This is judging from the comp op side of things. You need to make sure that's done. And then you all need to also ensure your payload has been checked in. If these two steps do not happen and somehow you've launched, you won't be scored at all. So make sure these two are checked off before you get anywhere close to launching itself. From a launch op side, if we were to sketch out the workflow for how a team would come in and launch, y'all would do registration, you'd finish that off, and then you'd start off with flight safety review, payload check-in, judging, and also live video checks if that's involved. Then the next step would be at the VLA, which is the final flight safety review. So once that's completed, you'll be entering the queue to get slotted in terms of your frequency allocation, and also to figure out what pad and salvo y'all will be put on. After that, you'll be heading down range to the pads itself. You can either utilize your own vehicle to transport your rocket, or you can utilize our trailer, and that'll help transport the rocket down to the pads. Once you do everything at the pads and that's completed, you'll be returning to the flight lines or to the comms area. And once that's done, you all will be launching. After the launch is completed, you'll come in and check in with the recovery folks. And once you get your radio and everything all set up, you all will be heading off to recover your rocket, come back, and then that concludes with the launch and recover portion. And then you'll be doing post-flight, which is another crucial step to making sure y'all get scored for your flight itself. So overall, that's the rough overview of that. If you were to focus on the first launch day, which is Wednesday, in order to get into the Wednesday queue, you need to complete your flight safety review on either the Monday or the Tuesday, at least for the first salvo, the sunrise salvo. And in order to meet the sunrise salvo requirements, you need to have a clean FSR, either on the Monday or Tuesday. That means you need to have your flight card prior to Tuesday evening. So what does the sunrise salvo entail? Basically, it's the first salvo as soon as sunrise hits that we'll be launching you all on. It comprises of basically 16 spots, roughly, and it's on a first-come, first-served basis. So for the teams that get allocated, it's basically you got your flight card on Monday, Tuesday, if there are spots, and you've decided to go ahead with it. Then you'll be arriving to the launch site at roughly around 5 a.m. to get yourself situated and get yourself down to the pad and launch for that salvo. For the teams that don't make the cut or decide to do a Tuesday launch or later, our recommendation is to arrive a little later, not at 5 a.m., but more closer to 6 a.m. Then that way you all can keep the rush a little bit minimal for ESRA staff to get in and set things up at 5 a.m. onwards, and also for those first 16 teams to get ready for launch as well. For the remaining Thursday to Saturday launches, similar setup. For the sunrise salvo, you all need to get your flight card or your FSR done the evening before. And then again, 16 spots will remain, and it's on a first come, first served basis. Similarly, gates open for those 16 team at around 5 a.m. And then rest of the teams, I encourage them to show up around closer to 6. So what does it mean to be on the Sunrise Plus salvo? So Sunrise salvos are available on each of those launch days. It is the best chance to get low winds and also allows for the most frequencies to be available on that day. The Wednesday process will be slightly different since you all will be signing up for this Sunrise salvo on either the Monday or the Tuesday at Midland. Again, like I said before, you all need to have obtained a clean safety review and you'll be obtaining your flight card. And then on Tuesday afternoon, for those 16-ish team, you need to show up for a mandatory safety meeting and frequency allocation that'll happen at the pavilion. If you don't show up to this particular meeting, consider yourself not part of the first Sunrise salvo. So that is a very critical milestone that you all need to meet to make sure you launch on the Wednesday morning. And then once you arrive on Wednesday morning, you will be doing a final flight safety review with Harry and his team somewhere between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. And then in that time period, we'll also be pushing you all to the pads for launch. Thursday to Saturday process will pretty much look identical where you sign up for this salvo the day before, and then there'll be a safety meeting the evening before or in the afternoon before, and then you'll be doing an overnight quarantine compared to the Wednesday launch. So Thursday to Saturday launches, you all need to do a mandatory overnight quarantine if you want to be part of that Sunrise Plus salvo on those days. So what that means is on the day of the launch, you'll be showing up at 6 a.m. to pick up your rocket, and you'll be waiting for that green light to go to the pads at, say, 6:20-ish, so you can set up and be ready for launch at that 7 a.m. time period. Before we go to the next slide, which contains a few more critical information, Jim, did you want to add anything to this?
Well, one thing, the Sunrise salvos are optional. Let me just say that first. You don't have to do them if you don't want to. If you do want to do them, then the idea is to go ahead and kind of follow the things that we've outlined on the slide. We'll be doing the frequency allocations for Wednesday morning on Tuesday and trying to get that all done. And then you have to do the final flight safety review on Wednesday morning. Process is a little different going after that. We'll just worry about Wednesday morning for the time being. As we said, that's sort of your best time for low wind and available frequencies, but there's some prerequisites. You have to be able to pick up, basically you have to be able to come to the site and go launch. You can't come to the site and take 3 hours and be in the Sunrise salvo. So you have to be able to come out there. Dexterity on frequency modifications is a good thing. Want to be able to adjust as we need to on getting the radios assigned. I think people have said, well, the purpose is to have these things available for the radios. No, the purpose is to get as many rockets launched as early as we can. That's why we're doing the Sunrise salvo. So we want to be out there and launching as early as we can. That gives us the best chance of getting all the rockets in through the competition if we run into weather or something like that. The other thing I want to mention is just to be careful about the comms areas. Each of the pad areas has an area that we're referring to as the communications area. And the purpose of that communications area is to give you a better chance of getting GPS lock. You may have difficulty doing that if you're closer to the operations area and further from the pads. So we want to get you halfway out to the pads where you can get your GPS signals. Aside from that, though, teams are not going to be allowed to be at that area. The viewing area is back up in the operations area. and the communications areas are just in case for the GPS connection. So that's what those are for. Overnight quarantines are something that we're going to be doing on Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Friday night. Those are secure. Those rockets are going to be stored in the Connex building under lock and key. So the idea there is that you'll come out there, say on Wednesday, and you'll say, we want to be in the queue for the Thursday morning sunrise salvo. So what you'll do is you'll go through and you'll do your flight safety review on that Wednesday. Hopefully you'll get your frequency assignments on that Wednesday as well. And then your rocket will go into the quarantine Connex buildings at that time. And then the idea will be you come out at 6 the next morning, you spend a little bit of time turning things on and getting ready to go, and then you go immediately to the pad and we launch fairly quickly after sunrise. I think that's it, Mohi.
Thanks, Jim. So as Jim mentioned, this is applicable to teams that have the ability to execute a quick turnaround. So minimal prep in terms of turning things on, just being able to swap frequencies quickly, not having to take things apart to power up the payload and whatnot. The only thing that'll be allowed for the Tuesday launch in particular is once everything is done and you're ready to launch on that first salvo on Wednesday, the only thing technically you should be doing once you arrive on site on Wednesday morning is loading up your charges. So that'll be done on site, and then final frequency adjustments if needed. Yeah, so that's that. And then up next is path to recovery. So a couple of key things for this. We've posted and shared the recovery guide. Have a look at that and familiarize yourself with that recovery guide. Once you do so, you'll be attempting the quiz for that recovery process itself. It's not that hard. Just make sure you know the basics and get that done. What that entails you is to be on the recovery approved list of people. Then that way, when you come in and check in at Recovery 10, we'll just cross-check that you are on that list and then get you all situated to go out and recover. Our recommendation and advice is to get all your team members to complete this step. It just will make things a lot easier if in case someone needs to be swapped for someone else from that recovery group that you all have. The last thing we want to do is turn someone away because they didn't do this training itself. So please do that. Basic things, not just for recovery, but also for attending IREC, is make sure you follow the dress code requirements. Don't come in shorts and flip-flops. Make sure that you know the hydration requirements for attending and being present in a desert environment. And lastly, the recovery windows and timeframes as well. There is a hard requirements on that to adhere to. So here's a quick recovery map that Jim had the chance to sit down and come up with quite extensively. But it's basically a grid that we'll be coordinating with you all on how it does. Frequency allocations. Oh boy. So a couple of key things on this. First up is the 70 centimeter band. So the frequency allocations have been completed for this, and we've shared it on Discord. Have a look at that and make sure you start programming your team radios for it now. Jim, did you want to chime in on that?
On the 70 centimeter, like I say, try to do that in advance, because what we don't want to have happen is you're out there on Tuesday morning, or I'm sorry, on Wednesday morning, and you say, hey, we're getting ready to program our 70 centimeter, we can't do it. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear the radios get programmed before you get to the site, and you test them and you make sure that you can do the frequencies that you were assigned so that you're ready to go on that frequency. And once you are on that frequency and you're all set, then you can test on that frequency. There's no restrictions on using those radios at the site. We want you to minimize it, but you can, at any point, you can turn on those things and you can test them and make sure you're getting connectivity and so forth, and then turn them off when you're done. But there's no pit restrictions on the operation of 70 centimeter. Just use common sense on turning them on and turn them off when you don't need to run them anymore. But those frequencies are yours from cradle to grave through the competition. The other bands, not so much. And this is really why we've kind of been trying to encourage people to go to 70 centimeter. 33 centimeter, a little bit different. We have too many of them and we can't assign them in advance. Like we can for the 70 centimeter. So we have to do that at the time when you're actually doing your final flight safety review. So you'll come in, you're ready to fly your rocket, you'll come into the tent to do your final flight safety review, and at that point there will be a table, and you'll go up there and you'll say, I need frequencies because I have 33 centimeter transmitters, or I have transmitters in 1.2 and 5.8, or through 5.8. And you'll get those frequencies at that time. And then you need to be able at that point in time to go ahead and set those frequencies. So what we don't want to hear is, well, I just came from my frequency, but boy, it takes me 2 hours to be able to take those assignments. We've been saying for quite some time that you needed to be able to adjust your frequency in a relatively short period of time. And here's the time when you're going to need to do that. So you'll get those frequency allocations as you're going through doing your final flight safety review. And you can be doing those radio checks and so forth as you're in the queue waiting to go to the pads. So you'll have a little bit of time, particularly, you'll have a little bit of time to do that. In the pits, there's some limited ability to do transmissions in the pit. We're going to have some pit frequencies for the 33 centimeter radios for the different the major units that are there, and I'll go over those details once we get on site. But we'll have some ability. It'll be crowded that you can at least turn them on, but you should be testing these at your Airbnb and not at the site, because it's going to be very difficult for you to do that until you go through and do those frequency allocations during the final flight safety review. I've now posted the frequency allocation charts for both 70 and 33 centimeter COTS and SRAD. And I think I did the 1.2 to 5.8, but I'll have to go back and make sure I did that. But those things are on there. Go take a look at those things and say, is that information correct? The 70 centimeter you do in advance, but the 33 centimeter and the other, you need to look at that information and say, hey, we're missing a transmitter. You're misrepresenting our band or how we're going to transmit or whatever. So take a look at those things and make sure that information is accurate and that you're ready to go. And on the live video related work, when you do your frequency checks at the convention center, when you get there, you're going to need to sit down and look at what it is that we think you're planning to do. What power level, what bandwidth do you have, what's your flexibility for setting frequencies and so forth, and make sure that we have all the latest and greatest accurate information on what you're planning to do, and that'll give us the best chance of deconflicting these things, because again, all that stuff's got to happen as the queues get built. And one thing I didn't mention earlier on, or I didn't see it on Mohi's schedule, but in years past, we've had a sort of a mandatory safety meeting for the teams at the convention center. And last year we did it right after the opening ceremony. And I believe we're going to do that again this year. And I don't know if there's a slide or anything on that, Mohi, but that is a meeting where we'll go over some of the details on some of this frequency stuff and all of the other safety stuff that you need to know, but we'll get into the weeds. And you will need to attend that with your team leads and with your FOR. And so please plan to do that on Tuesday morning after the opening ceremony.
That's a very good point, Jim. I totally forgot to include a slide on that.
I noticed that.
But
it is
we do have it scheduled right after the opening ceremony. It will be in the education building and room for all. So yes, that's on the full agenda.
Yeah. Speaking of agenda, if you haven't already, the IMS should have that. It'll get updated for the last minute changes to a few things that are happening, including the location of this mandatory meeting. So keep an eye out on the updated IMS for that. Awesome. 2026 IREC networking. Again, please do not bring your own Starlinks to the launch site. Instead, what you all can do is if you have an AT&T or Verizon as your cell phone provider, we get really good cell signal at the launch site with them. So it's very useful to utilize just your phone and LTE or 5G to stay connected with your family and friends, and also for emergency purposes. The other thing you can do is, if you really need Wi-Fi, is to purchase a 5G mobile hotspot modem from these providers. And once you do so, you'll have basically your own little hotspot that you can use for your Wi-Fi and internet needs. Yeah. Over to Jessica for some media updates.
Thank you, Mohi. You'll go ahead and advance, please. Thank you. All right. We've mentioned this in prior town halls. We will have a ESRA GoPro for students to sign up for and carry around. You'll actually pick it up at the DS Pro Drones table in the Horseshoe. We are still making arrangements on how to pick them up for actual launch days. There are still a few slots available for that. If you visit your team's media portal and your team's account page, you'll be able to sign up to carry that around. Again, our goal for this year is to document your experience as much as possible. Team interviews, there are a few remaining spots that are available to sign up for targeted interviews. These will ideally be aired on live stream as your team prepares to launch. So as you guys go out for your salvo, the live stream wants to highlight your team as you prepare. Post-flight interviews. After your flight, we are asking that you join the media team to kind of chat about your overall experience. Currently, there is a location next to the live stream under a tent for this. However, depending on media manning, we may ask you to come into the live stream trailer. Again, location is to be determined, but please, we want to hear from you and your experience. So please plan to join us after your flight. For our media team has designed a page on our website that is designed for cell phones, for you guys to know everything there is that's going on at IREC, all the schedules, all the maps, all the food truck information, and you can currently see it at ezrarocket.org/@the-IREC. If you kind of want to check it out, but it is still kind of being prepped with all of the pertinent information. So another thing, and we've mentioned this in the past, is to showcase your skills on an international stage. And this is for media, those people on the Rocket team that create your media. We would love to have them help us out this year. Again, I've had the University of South Florida, University of Texas, San Antonio are coming out, and I'd love to add more colleges to our list. Again, email me at media@ezrarocket.org. There is a deadline to apply, which is June 9th, so that we can prepare you for that role and responsibility. If you could switch, Mohi, please. Thank you. So live rocket video rules. First and foremost, you must show proof of transmission at the Horseshoe Pavilion. This is going to be in the safety check area next to SDL. You will be transmitting on low power mode. And we're, of course, going to ask you probably a handful of additional questions as far as, are you able to turn on and off your transmitter? Are you able to jump frequencies so that when your time comes up to be in the salvo, that we can develop that salvo accordingly so that we can get you guys out there and get you launched in a timely manner. As far as the teams participating in live video, again, you may be queued to support frequency deconfliction. And what is going to happen is you're going to be given the option. And that is either to go out and transmit because we believe that there will not be a conflict, or you will have the option to save, to use just your onboard video recording, which is mandatory anyway. So we understand that it can be a headache, and we want to give everybody an option, which is why the onboard recording is necessary. For two-stage team limitations, there is a geographical interference as far as live stream connection or frequency, GPS lock is. And there is about a 50-foot hill between the operations area and the new two-stage pads. So there are a couple of options there. One, you can get your lock and then come to live stream, hook up, and then ideally you will catch your rocket as it crests the hill, ideally. Or again, you are able to save your feed on your rocket to give to us after you fly, so that you still get credit for that launch. Students, you will need to bring your own HDMI cord to hook up to the supplied monitor. So on our website, underneath the live video challenge, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there is a PDF of all the details. And in that PDF is also a picture of the actual monitor and its connections. So please take a moment before you get there and so you can see what you're looking at. We will also have a monitor at the horseshoe for you guys to hook up to and check out as well when you do your frequency checks. For when you come to the live video table, we currently will definitely have 3 inputs. We are looking at having a 4th one. However, the way we're doing it this year, instead of a team crowding around your video input, which has been done in the past, only 2 team members are going to be allowed at the actual video input station. Instead, ESRA is supplying a TV in the student video area for you guys to actually watch the feed live. And it's going to be a direct feed straight from the live stream trailer. There's not going to be internet conflict involved, so that you guys can actually see what's going on. Again, and I've mentioned this a little bit earlier, all the video must be recorded on board and submitted to the ESRA media team after post-flight. Initially, we had conversations about having a media team member in the post-flight, but depending on staffing, we may have to ask you to come to the live stream trailer in order to upload that video. And then one of the other questions is for live video. You are going to take your full video and edit it down to just 60 seconds for the closing ceremonies so that we can air your video at the closing ceremonies. Your 60-second video is not the video that will be judged. It will be your entire video that we judge, but the 60-second video is just for presentation at the closing ceremonies. And that is due Saturday, June 20th at 6 a.m. All right, next, please. So final team videos. A lot of you went ahead, you got your intro videos in. Thank you for that. If you are still working on an intro video, you are more than welcome to upload it. However, only those videos that were received by 11:59 on May 30th will be eligible for the live video challenge. So we will still show your intro on live stream as long as we get it in advance. However, those videos that were submitted June 1st through whenever those are not going to be able to be part of the actual challenge itself. Your final team videos, so your final team video should be your intro video and then all your travel, your rocket footage. That is due by Friday, June 19th at 11:59 p.m. These deadlines are for the media team to judge. So they are deadlines. We're not changing them. We're not accepting anything at midnight that night. Another challenge that we really haven't talked about a whole lot is the Best Picture Challenge. You can already submit that on our website under Best Picture. There is a form, and it is due by Sunday, June 21st at 11:59. And the winner for this, you will not necessarily be announced at closing ceremonies because it is still open, but it will be announced with a final press release that goes out. And on a cool note, the media team is going to attempt to record and live stream the Sunday Fun Fly. And we'll have more details to come on that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jessica. I had the chance to quickly look at the mobile site that y'all created. It looks great. I saw the food truck list, and I'm already hungry because I haven't had dinner yet. Up next is competition operations updates. I think Anita joined in. Hopefully she's still there.
Yeah, I'm still here, Mohi.
Anita.
Hello. So a reminder once again, we need every team to submit their AIAA technical copyright forms. We reopened it and we need them by this Friday. So tomorrow, we have received some of them. So thank you for the teams that have done it, but this is required for all teams. So submit them. That's what the form looks like. So it is that orange form.
Yeah, I think that might be a good chunk of things from competition ops. Anything else you'd like to add, Anita?
Nope, that's it. Thanks, Mohi.
Thanks, Anita.
I think we're going to be posting a listing of teams that have not submitted their AIAA form fairly soon, because there may be teams that really have no idea whether or not they did it or not. So we definitely need to get an update sent out because there were quite a few.
For sure. Yeah. A couple of key things to keep in mind is this June 5th AIAA form that needs to be done. The second thing is for you all to review the podium session tracks that are happening on the Tuesday of IREC. So a couple of things to keep in mind is know your presentation time and room. Please be sure to show up to those. It is very critical that you do because you all work so hard for the entire year to get selected for it. So please be there and be on time with your team members as well to present. I think that closes it. But before we jump into questions, again, just as a reminder, the Q&A section is open and active. So please post it there and we'll get to it now. But one thing that I want to quickly emphasize is...
let me interrupt you for 1 second, because there's one thing I'd like to add here at the end. Thank you all for sticking through. Got a lot of important information tonight. We're trying to make this the best event that it can be, and appreciate you listening to everybody and the detailed information you got tonight. There's one thing I want to make sure that you all understand is that there's going to be a lot of aerospace companies that will be here, at the pavilion. And, from Blue Origin to SpaceX to Anduril to Karman Space Defense, Perseus, AST Mobile. There's a lot of aerospace companies that are coming to recruit you. I think you would be best suited to be ready and to interact with those companies and to bring resumes. It's a great opportunity. I mean, one of the main reasons that the event is so popular is because of the quality, the engineering quality of what you all do. And the goal of that is to get to this next step, which is to get into the workforce. So please be ready. Be ready to talk to our sponsors and make the best of it, because for me, success is getting you all placed with an aerospace company. And I'm sure that's your goal as well, other than to have a successful launch and to participate in what is truly an inspiring event. But be ready, both for underclassmen from an intern standpoint, and then for those that are going to graduate or have just graduated. Please be prepared and make the most of our sponsors. Okay, that's all I got, Mohik. Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I wanted to make sure that was an obvious goal other than the competition for the students to hear.
For sure. And as Steve mentioned, there's a ton of organizations that are supporting us and also are on the lookout for amazing talent, which you all provide by being there. So be sure to interact with them, get to know them, and continue the conversation after IREC as well. We've got a lot of questions actually today, but before we jump into questions, there was one thing that I needed to clarify. A lot of this info from a launch perspective, which is path to launch and the Sunrise Salvo, is predominantly geared towards the solids teams or the folks competing in the COTS category. If you are in the 2-stage or if you're in hybrids and liquid side, you'll be coordinating explicitly with your pad manager or your reviewer that you've done. So that would be Paul himself for hybrids and liquids. And then for 2-stage, that would be Adam and his team for that. So this information is still applicable for a good chunk, but it's more so geared towards solids. Okay, jumping over to questions. I guess this is for the panel. One of the questions that was asked is, what is the #1 mistake that teams tend to make that they should avoid making to have a successful IREC experience? I guess anyone from the panel wants to chime in on this?
I got one.
Go for it.
Not preparing for being out in the desert. Make sure you have water or Gatorade, something to be hydrated. Make sure you have protective covering. Make sure you have the right type of shoes. That's like sneakers and boots. Take the time to actually make sure you are prepared for going out in the desert, because we don't want anyone getting sick or getting hurt while out there.
Thanks, Mandy. An important thing is y'all are there alongside fellow Rocketeers. So be mindful of that, with you're not just looking after yourselves, but also other Rocketeers. I had to sneeze, sorry. That you're not just looking out for yourselves, but also, as Mandy mentioned, for other Rocketeers and people in general. Up next, we've got a question for
sorry, I wanted to add one in there. Perfect. Each of the teams should have a plan for literally every day. So when the day you arrive, how are you going to get there? What's the plan? How's the travel? There should be a plan for literally every single day. Plan A, hey, we've successfully launched on Wednesday. Great. What's the plan for Thursday? What's the plan for Friday? If you didn't, what's the plan? And you should be updating that on a daily basis, making sure everybody on your team understands that plan and everyone's working on the same goals and mission. So we run into a lot of teams that show up very concerned about not knowing what's going to happen. Well, if you do your research and you look at the website and you ask a lot of questions, you will prepare yourself. We've had first-year teams do extremely well in this competition just due to the fact that they participated in the town halls. They read through all the Discord channels. They did all their homework, and they were well prepared. If you have no idea what's going to happen going into your arrival at the IREC, you need to do some homework. You need to get on board real quick and get your plans together. So, we want to make sure that we don't have a lot of teams coming back to us later on saying we didn't communicate enough. We get them every year, from that standpoint. So please get your plans together, get organized, and where you have questions, ask them before you arrive. That's what Discord is out there for. So that's my key piece.
Awesome. Thanks, Andy. And as Andy mentioned, have a plan, not just for what you're doing on the days off, but also have checklists. Y'all need checklists, which are nominal checklists and also off nominal ones for going to the pad, scrubbing, taking your rocket down if you need to. And also you need to have a recovery plan that you need to show the folks in the recovery tent on how you'll be going over, where you'll be searching, when you'll be coming back, and so on. Jessica?
I just wanted to say that planning is very important. Do not get me wrong. But you guys are out there. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Make the best of it, whether things go absolutely great or completely go downhill. Learn from everything that you do and have fun. That's what's important.
Here, here.
Awesome. Thanks, Jessica. A question that we have for the registration team, I guess Jamie, is when do we expect teams to get their registration slots or registration time?
That should be coming no later than early next week. I am actively working on that. I've finally transitioned to that piece after going through every single registration and checking EEE numbers, what have you. So yes, that will be coming very soon in the next few days.
Awesome. Thanks, Jamie. And actually, one more thing that Jamie chimed in at the beginning of the presentation or the town hall was EEE memberships need to be active before you arrive at IREC, and they need to be active for the entire duration of IREC. If you don't have EEE, we won't be allowing you into the operations tent area, and you'll be directed to go to the spectator area. So if you're a Rocketeer and you want to be alongside your team, make sure that's cleared off. Up next, we've got a question that asks, can teams choose when they launch? Yes, certainly teams have the choice to go anywhere from Wednesday sunrise plus salvo all the way to Saturday last salvo. Please try not to do the very last salvo on Saturday. The earlier you do, like Jim mentioned, the easier it'll be. But yeah, figure out when your system will be go for flight, and then you can narrow down on which day and time y'all will be going. As Jim chimed in a little earlier, the sunrise salvo is an optional salvo. It's not mandatory for any of the teams to utilize. It's just a nice thing that we're trying to provide all the teams.
If I can add in on Saturday launches, and I would like at this point, Anita, if you could chime in, the deadline for if you launch first thing Saturday morning, like the very first launch is Saturday morning, and you're successfully able to recover your rocket and get it back in immediately, there is still a strong chance that the data won't be recorded in time. I believe it's a 10 a.m. deadline. Is that correct, Anita?
That's correct. Yep. We leave at 10 a.m. So
if you wait until Saturday to launch your rocket, there is a very strong chance that you will get a 0 score, just because it's almost impossible to do everything successfully, get the flight recorded, get the inspection done, get the data into the system before the judges have to start evaluating. The judges are meeting at 12 noon, and all of that data has got to be consolidated, crunched, and ready for them to start evaluating. So if you wait until Saturday and you launch successfully, that's great. But just understand your scores are very likely not to be recorded, and that if you're hoping to win a prize, just be happy you got to launch.
Yeah. In the past years, I've had the experience of telling the teams that, hey, Anita and her team left. Sorry, there's not much we can do at this point. It was a great flight though, but yeah, they're not here. So please don't put me in that situation of telling you all that this year. Up next, we've got a question that's asking for, we're planning on using GMRS radios while at the site. These channels weren't in the frequency band plan, so wanted to confirm their availability.
I will be happy to answer that. Yeah, you can use GMRS radios. I think that I think legally you have to have a license to use them. It's an individual license, which is pretty easy to get. There's no test or anything, but at least some of the GMRS radio band requires a license. FRS radios are fine. We've actually tested FRS radios out there, and they have really good range. So you can expect to be able to contact and keep in touch with your teams using just inexpensive FRS radios. So I would encourage doing that, but they're fine. Ham radios are okay too, as long as you're in the band that's allocated to them in 70 centimeter. There's nothing in the plan at all regarding 2 meter, 10 meter, or more than 5.8 gigahertz bands. It's the Wild West, you're on your own, and there's really no restrictions on anything that's done in those bands, so far as I know. Question on setup of telemetry and tracking equipment. Do we move it from our tent to the flight line, or I think all of the telemetry stuff is done from the viewing area, at least things like live video and that sort of thing. I mentioned the comms area, which really is limited to the GPS, making sure that your primary GPS can be read and you're not getting interfered with from the operations area, and you've got a place where you can go that's a little bit out of the way. That's really the only thing that we want to have go on there in the on those comm areas. We're going to be restricting how many people are there. If you are not actively a member that's tracking your rocket with GPS, and you don't need to be there, you're probably going to be asked to leave. With the exception of the hybrids area. I think the hybrids area is going to be different, and Paul's going to manage that, and he will keep everyone in line as to what is allowed in the hybrids area. 900 megahertz frequency allocation for Wednesday sunrise salvo will happen Tuesday afternoon. And so, kind of way this is going to work is remember that sunrise salvo is sort of intended to be a perk. You want to try to fly early, and things happen at IREC. The wind blows, and we get rain, and days get canceled, and stuff happens. And so the earlier that you can fly, the better off that you will be. And so we want to offer the sunrise salvo as a way to be able to do that, to fly as early as you can. So if you have a clean flight safety review, you're offered the option to fly in the sunrise salvo, and if you can meet the prerequisites as far as kind of not taking a lot of time, you might take advantage of that. And then there will be a meeting on Tuesday afternoon. I'm not exactly sure when, 3 or 4, something like that, where people participating in that sunrise salvo will get together, and we'll go ahead and we'll do all the frequency allocations for the radios that'll be in that salvo. So all you have to do Wednesday morning is come out to the site and load up your black powder, and you'll have to do your final flight safety review there at the site. We can't do that at the convention center, so you'll have to do that. But we'll do that, and then we'll be ready to go. So as soon as we're all ready on the pads to be able to launch the rockets, we will do so as quickly as we can.
Thanks, Jim. We'll circle back to you shortly because I know there's a few more questions that need your expertise. In the meantime, we've got a question that asks for the telemetry visualization category in the live rocket video challenge. would it be sufficient? Would the telemetry data to our ground station be sufficient proof of transmission, or is live onboard video transmission required for all entries? Our current plan is to transmit live rocket telemetry data to the ground station for real-time visualization while recording onboard locally. We would like to participate in the challenge, similar to best live telemetry footage. I guess the best person to answer this would be Jessica.
At the Horseshoe, you guys will need to prove that you can transmit from point A, the rocket, to point B, your ground station. Once I have proof of that, it is entirely up to you how I get the footage, whether that is you live stream via our inputs or whether it is saved on board your rocket. So yes, to your question, as long as you can prove transmission at the Horseshoe, then yes, you're able to save your file on board your rocket and submit.
Jessica, if I could ask one question about that. What is the difference, if there is any, for people that are doing the live telemetry versus the live video? Does the live telemetry require the frequency proof at the convention center as well, or is that only the video?
No, they'll still have to approve their frequency.
So that's anyone that's doing a live transmission
Yes.
in that challenge. Okay.
The major difference between the two is, one, you're getting onboard video, like camera footage, and then telemetry one is they're getting their live attitude information from the rocket and telling us which direction it's pointing, is it firing, where it's going, and stuff.
I'm sorry, was that a question or a statement?
Oh, no, that was just a clarification between video and telemetry challenge.
Okay. But yes, I need to prove that your two components can talk to each other in order for you to compete for those that will not be able to make the connection on site due to whatever reasoning that is.
Now, Jessica, I'm just assuming a team that has both live data telemetry and live video successfully on their rocket would likely perform better in the competition judging than a team that doesn't.
So there are actually two portions of the live video challenge. While they can be combined, there are still two separate ones. One is live telemetry and one is live video. So for instance, while in 2024, we only had one winner for live video, last year there were actually two winners, one for the live video and one for telemetry.
Thanks, Jessica. Up next, back to Jim. What, I guess, or Jessica too. What's considered low power mode for live video? For example, my video transmitter can switch between 500 milliwatts to 1,000, but is 500 considered safe enough for low power mode for the pavilion?
Well, I can't say that I know exactly what the capabilities of all of the radios that are performing. I've seen many of them will allow anything even down as low as 25 milliwatts. And all I can say is, in the interest of not messing with people's televisions and cell phones and whatever, we just try to use the lowest power that you're able to set up your unit at. And that's really all I can say, just whatever is the lowest setting that you can use. I don't know if it's possible to attenuate an antenna, for example, but if that was something that you're able to relatively easily do so that you're reducing your effective transmitted power, that would probably be appreciated. We don't want you to get down to where you can't transmit, but we're just trying to minimize the interference that we cause from those transmitters. And we got a lot of walls between us and the outside world. So I don't anticipate a lot of trouble, but we just want to keep we've had teams talking about doing live video at 10 watts. We don't want to do that in the horseshoe.
Thanks, Jim. Up next, we've got a question that's asking, will teams receive live information about tent space availability on site? I'm not sure what live information is, but yes, there will be markers and locations for where each of the teams would be going. And that'll be provided by the map and also from on-site volunteers that'll be present. Stephanie?
Yeah, so, well, and again, just because it'll be a little bit of a different process because we want to make sure that the international teams will have the tent coverage. But we'll make sure that it's communicated because generally if the next day we may have hopefully all those international teams or a bunch have launched successfully. There may be more open tables the next day, open tables underneath the tents, but we'll definitely try to keep communicating and making sure everybody knows kind of what the deal is, I guess, for that day. But live, that's kind of hard to say because it'll depend on who shows up when and kind of how things go that day for each team.
And my best suggestion is if you have the ability and you have the assets to bring it. It's a little bit of an uncomfortable situation for us this year after the last couple of years, but if you have the equipment and you're already driving here and you have, your trailer can fit the equipment in for your team, please do it. Because it's a variable that we don't have a complete handle on. And so if you have the capability and you have the assets, please bring it. If you don't, we'll work something out with you.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Stephanie. Up next, we've got a question that asks, can cameras be placed to capture the launch itself? And can they be recovered after launch? Yes. If you all want to have your own GoPros or cameras set up, by all means, bring them over. You can place them around your pad that you'll get assigned on the day off. And once your launch happens, we'll be coordinating that recovery of your cameras and providing that back to you all. Usually that's myself who figures that out. So if you're planning on putting cameras out, come talk to me on the day off and we'll get you situated. Even if you need to have a look at camera angles beforehand, just come talk to me and we can sort that out.
Make sure that you label everything so that when somebody picks it up for you later on, we can get it to you.
Yeah. At the minimum, have your team ID and phone number listed on it, either taped on and written on or a sticker as well. Next up is, can we provide more information about any resources on site to assist people with any medical issues, especially in terms of cooling and hydration? We do have quite a few things set up for making sure y'all are safe, including having EMS on site. And Chad is spearheading that, but I think Stephanie knows quite extensively on this. So Stephanie?
Right. So, right, Chad's managing it, but we will have EMS. We have safety plans written out, so we're all set. Mentions cooling. We have 3 cooling trailers this year. We will also have a medical tent. So there's safety is absolutely the number one concern in every aspect, not just the launching, but certainly the elements of the environment. So we will definitely have everything needed to keep everybody safe. And we even have somebody that we are going to ask, one of our volunteers, to be really walking around and making sure students are drinking water and that they, are really keeping themselves cooled off, water around the water towels around the neck. But it is it is in relationship to how many people will be there student-wise. The volunteer pool is small, so we certainly are depending on you all to make sure that you're drinking water, Gatorade, and just making really smart choices in that respect.
And I guess I'll add, we will have potable water on site. So we'll have 2 hydration stations where we'll have over 6,000 gallons a day of water for people that bring water bottles and that sort of thing. So we'll have a hydration area, and it's a delicate balance. You want to make sure you drink a lot of water, but you also have to replace your electrolytes. And so we're not. I suggest teams bring Gatorade or Powerade or something to help replace electrolytes, because we've had a situation where someone has drank too much water and not enough electrolytes, and it put them into an imbalance. So we will supply water. Please bring Gatorade or Powerade, and we're very sensitive, and we have the medical staff available to help address that stuff. So, but please take every precaution that you can, and be aware that it could potentially be 100 to 115 degrees out in the middle of a desert. So just be that aware and hydrate, and also you got to think about your electrolytes.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Stephanie. Adding to that, if y'all are ever in need of some sort of medical attention, please don't be shy, be vocal. You need to bring it up at the very minimum to your own team safety officer, and they need to then assess and evaluate the next steps, whether it be talking to EMS, talking to Chad, or talking to one of the blue shirt ESRA folks as well. So nothing to be scared of or shy about on that topic. Up next is, can we provide more information about, oh no, sorry, we finished this one. Up next, we've got, if you're attempting to fly on the Wednesday sunrise salvo, would we need to turn in our assembled rocket overnight, or do we show up on Wednesday morning with an assembled rocket? Yes, Wednesday is a little different, so we won't be taking possession of your rocket either on the Monday or Tuesday. You'll still be holding on to it for that Wednesday morning sunrise salvo. The expectation is everything is closed up, ready to go. You just need to come in, do final flight safety review, and then get ready to go down to the pads after you all put in your energetics and charges. But outside of that, it should be a pretty closed rocket for the most part.
Yeah, I think a good example of a way to think about that is, if you have to come in and, like, I would never tell anyone to load charges ahead of time. That would be wrong. But if you have to come in and you have to take your rocket and you have to completely disassemble your recovery system in order to load your charges, the sunrise salvo might not be your thing. You need to be able to take the rocket apart. You've got maybe a half hour to kind of get your act together on getting everything loaded and prepped and buttoned up and shear pinned and be ready to do your final flight safety inspection. So it's sort of on that time frame. It's going to take you an hour and a half to get your rocket ready from the time you drive in. That's not going to work. You're going to end up not being in the sunrise salvo. And then guess what? You go to the back of the line if you're not in that. You don't go to the next salvo, you go to the last salvo. So try to make sure that you kind of know how long it's going to take you and that you're sort of on that time frame, because we're not going to be able to sit there and wait a long time for you. The whole idea is to get rockets flown. So one other thing I just wanted to mention, there was a question answered about when would the next salvo be after the sunrise salvo? And that's an interesting question. You kind of think about the time of it. We're going to try to have sunrise salvos on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, going off as close to probably 7 o'clock as we can. We're typically not quite at 7 o'clock, but hopefully not too long after that. And it takes, 45 minutes to get a salvo of rockets off, if not even a little bit longer. So if, you might say, well, okay, that means maybe the practical time that the next salvo is taking off and heading towards the pad area is not going to be before 8 o'clock. And hopefully it's not long after 8 o'clock. So if you show up at 6 o'clock in the morning, when the gates open, when you're not in the sunrise, you've got a couple hours to do that. So you've got time to do that sort of preparation before that second salvo comes along.
Thanks, Jim. Next up, we've got a question on the live video challenge, telemetry challenge one. The gist of the question is whether the award category is more so best onboard video or best live onboard video, and how it'll be viewed in terms of from a systems design perspective and also from a successful transmission perspective from a judging criteria. Jessica, did you want to add something to that?
So I understand where this is coming from completely. The reason you are required to prove transmission at the Horseshoe Pavilion is proof that you're able to connect live to your onboard video. Without that transmission, you are not eligible to compete in the competition. The only reason we are allowing onboard video is to accommodate all teams due to frequency confliction issues this year, as well as we have some teams, for instance, like the 2-stage pads, that do not have the ability to connect to the live stream input. So we opened it up to all teams by requiring the onboard video.
Awesome. Thanks, Jessica. Before we close that topic, there was another one that came on Discord where they were asking what sort of data should they integrate into their live video. Is there anything in particular we as ESRA folks and reviewers would like to see?
Ham call sign.
Yes, that's a good one. That's a very important one. Ham call sign needs to be there.
There is a rubric, and we will be following the rubric in order to judge your entry.
There you go. Thanks, Jessica. Up next, I guess more so for Andy, what does the setup look like for rocketry vendors on site? Will there be anyone there like Wildman that'll be selling supplies?
Yeah, this question hurts a little bit because we've been talking about this since at least January. Wildman certainly will be on site, and he will have a fair amount of general rocketry supplies. So if for some reason you forget a shock cord, if you forget a D-link, if you still need an igniter, whatever the case might be, the little pieces, they'll even have some potential flight computers, those kind of functions. But they will be on site. Aerotech also will be on site. Again, they're not selling per se motors, but they will be there for technical support, and Wildman will have a fair amount of general rocketry supplies in case you run into a situation. If they do not have it, a lot of teams will let you borrow stuff from them, and we've watched a lot of collaboration between teams when one team's in trouble. So, those are also options to keep in mind.
Thanks, Andy. Up next, we've got a question that asks, are we allowed to adjust the video format for our onboard cameras based on if we learned we're launching live video or not? And even if different format than that stated is, can the format be different than what's stated in the progress report?
So the answer to this is no, you cannot change the format. The idea is that whatever you're transmitting it as if you were being able to provide it the live video feed. So this, again, is not an onboard video competition. This is a live rocketry video competition. We have just altered the input format a little bit to accommodate other issues.
Thank you, Jessica. Again, last few questions, folks. So if you all have anything, please post them in the Q&A section. There were a few questions that we didn't vocalize before since they were typed out. So if in case, I'll just quickly read them out so that we can close this town hall and see you all in Midland very soon. One of them was, should teams bring their own tents and chairs? The answer is yes. Please do your best to bring so, especially local teams or teams that are from the US. There was a question that was asking in regards to black powder being pre-ordered, or will that be available on site? And that they've heard conflicting information on this front. From what I know is we need to pre-order them from Wildman's website, and they'll be available for pickup at IREC. I'm sure he might still have a little bit that he might be able to spare or sell on the day off as well, but I wouldn't count on that. Andy, Stephanie?
Actually, and I'm sorry, Mohi, I'm sort of jumping in the middle of this, but one thing that we wanted to mention, Jessica has to leave, but there is going to be a student panel that takes place on Monday afternoon at the pavilion, and it is a few teams that have done this for several years that the topic is really how to prepare for IREC. I apologize, I sort of jumped right in the middle of what you were going through, but I didn't want to forget before we closed out the town hall.
For sure. No, absolutely. That's a good point. And we are updating our IMS to highlight that panel event. So keep an eye out for an updated IMS, but also be sure to attend that and learn from how other teams have done IREC in the past. Andy, Did you want to chime in on the black powder question?
You were absolutely correct on that one. If you're in need of black powder and you cannot transport it yourself due to college restrictions or whatever the case might be, certainly place your order with Wildman as quickly as possible so that he will have it available when he shows up. If you're relying on his goodwill or maybe to borrow some from another team, you're rolling the dice. So much better to be prepared.
Thanks, Andy. And thanks, Paul, for answering that. Jim?
I assume that the pre-order also applies to the Wildman Igniters, Andy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, so just to make sure that everybody knows, there is a requirement for a double-headed igniter. And kind of what we mean by that is that there's 2 E-matches in that igniter. And an amount of pyrogen that is appropriate for the motor, but want to have 2 E-matches in there, and so that's what Wildman is going to be selling. If you don't have that, I think Harry's going to be asking to see your igniter when you're there for your final flight safety review, and if it's not a double-headed igniter, it's not going to be compliant with the DTAG. So I urge everyone to if you're not making your own double-headed E-match igniter, to go ahead and place an order for Wildman, and he'll have something there that'll light the motor, and that would be a good thing to use. But don't ignore that until the last minute, because you got to have a double-headed igniter. You don't need it for 2-stage sustainers, but you need it for any motor lit on the ground. It has to be a double-headed igniter.
And don't assume by any means that the igniter that comes with your rocket motor meets that criteria, because they don't.
No. There are no igniters that come with the motor that meet the criteria for a double-headed igniter. You can use the igniter that comes with the motor and a second E-match, so that you basically have 2 E-matches and 1 pyrogen charge. You can do that. But the igniter that comes with the motor, as it comes, is not going to have double-headed igniter. It's not going to be compliant.
Awesome. Thanks for that reminder, Jim. Next up, we had, are students allowed to bring 2 tents if they have a larger team? The answer to that is yes. Are there cool down trucks or cooling stations? Yes, there'll be a total of 3. A recommendation from one of the folks is to bring back fresh lemonade, which Stephanie is working on diligently. What is there? Some people on my recovery team want to bring hydration packs to take to the field during recovery. These are in the form of backpacks. Will they interfere with the radio packs or any of that sort? No, that's a perfect idea. Most individuals who are volunteering at IREC tend to have those type of backpacks and also carry an IREC radio. So they don't. I personally will be carrying mine. So I also would encourage others to do that. Can teams choose when they launch? We've already answered that. Will the queue operate on a pager system again for launching? Yeah, it'll be similar to last time. We'll have pagers, not just for the queue, but also other areas. So we'll be keeping you all updated also through PA and whatnot for important milestones and information. Jim?
Those darn radios. I don't know how I get into this. We're going to have different radios this year than what we had last year, and the process for using them is going to be different. The one thing that we're going to be doing is using the radios that we give to the students during the recovery. Give those radios away when teams first report to recovery. And then those will essentially operate as the pagers until such time as the team is recalled to actually go out on recovery. So we're not going to have pagers, but we are going to have those radios. And they'll operate a little bit differently than in the past. They will have GPS on them for the student radios. So we're going to be tracking everyone as we have in the past. I think it's going to work better. You're going to like them better than what we've done in the past with the DaVinci radios, but they will be different.
Awesome. Thanks, Jim. There was a question that was asking, when does judging for scoring happen and if it's separate from flight safety review? Yes, those two are two separate items that need to get checked off. As Anita chimed in, judges will be coming around to each of the tables on Tuesday. So it is imperative that your table be occupied by, at the minimum, few team members from your team for the entirety of the Tuesday. So it's imperative between the hours of 9 to 5 p.m. Y'all are stationed at your assigned table. One of the questions was, IMS shows a morning flyer meeting happens at 6 a.m. Each morning. Is this only for the teams that are doing the sunrise salvo? No, it is not. The morning flyers meeting that will be happening is meant for teams that are launching on the day off. The sunrise salvo teams will need to attend the flyer meeting that will be happening the afternoon day prior. So if you're launching on Wednesday sunrise salvo, you need to attend the Tuesday afternoon meeting. If you're launching any other time on Wednesday, you can attend that 6 a.m. meeting on Wednesday.
Louis, the question about the ejection charge testing, yes, we will have an allocated zone. So if you come to the basically launch operations tent, the final range safety inspection, there'll be a individual there that will be coordinating ejection charge testing and escort you to the area. Teams, please be aware, when you're doing ejection charge testing, there's a minimum distance you should be away from the rocket. We've had a few teams in the past that didn't have any PPE, no safety glasses, no anything, and all they had was a little 4-foot piece of wire to connect to the battery for the ejection charge. And then they had 10 people all sort of surrounding the rocket when they fired off that charge. So we'll make sure the person supervising that this year has a lot more safety focus. and you should absolutely be bringing your PPE with you, the face shields, the goggles, glasses, whatever the case might be, for whenever you're working with the ejection charges or any type of energetics, particularly your ejection charge testing. And you should be a minimum of probably 15 feet away, and only the person that is igniting that charge should be anywhere near the rocket. So just keep aware of that. That was sort of one of the pet peeves I had last year.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, indeed. We'll be coordinating that. So before you all can do that, you all need to come see us for that. Up next, we had a question that was asking, will ESRA print our posters for poster session day, or is that on us? No, that is on yourselves as a team. You all need to print any and all material that's needed for the event. How will the team's tables be organized by name or number? At the pavilion, they're going to be organized by number. If you're not doing the sunrise salvo, is the earliest time we would be allowed to launch be at 7 a.m.? No, 7 a.m. is the sunrise salvo. It'll be a little later than that once we finish that first salvo. So Jim already went into details in that. So we'll skip that for now. AIAA form is not optional. If you're planning on presenting during the podium session, should the entire team be presenting or just the team members who worked on the portion of that project? If the entire team, who should remain at the poster during that presentation? So the entire team should not be there. It needs to be balanced between who can best support or who can best present that content that's being showcased. But at the same time, there needs to be people at the table as well. Some of the team members can attend as audience members and cheer them on as well. Do podium presenters need to be present at the conference the entire day? No, at the minimum, they need to attend their slot and have someone be at the table as well. Will there be a session similar to last year at the convention center where payloads will be photographed? Perhaps not photographed. I don't know if Anita or someone else can chime in on that, but there will be a check-in station with SDL for your payloads.
Well, they will be there, but that is only for payloads that are entered into the SDL payload challenge.
That's true. Yes.
Mo, I think I set up this for 2 hours, thinking we would never go longer than 2 hours. I believe we're coming up on 2 hours. So if you do get disconnected, sorry, folks, we'll get the recording posted ASAP, but let's keep going as long as we can.
Sweet. Will there be ground ejection testing opportunities at the site? Yes, there will be. We've just answered that. Tent space and stuff will be available for US-based teams. If not, please purchase your own pop-up tents. If you're able to bring it, even though you're a US team, please do so. Even though you're an international team, please do so. Is there a chance that flight data check-in time for Saturday will be extended for weather events? No, that is a very hard deadline that we'll be sticking to. I don't think there are any ifs and buts on that. We've talked about cameras at the pads. We've talked about medical issues. I think, yeah, that might be it. We've done everything else.
You got some new questions that came in while you were talking.
Oh boy. I heard USB drives to transport recording of the onboard video. Would a USB adapter be provided or a micro SD card work as well? I believe both should be fine. Yeah, USB-C or an SD card should work. I don't know if Jessica's still on.
No, she's gone.
Yeah, the fastest USB-C you can come up with would be much appreciated.
Are there any key differences between a team that's doing a demo launch versus a competing team? No, the process is exactly the same, even no matter what category you are competing in. And can we leave before 5 p.m. on Tuesday if you've already been judged and need to make the drive to Pecos or any other location? Yes. Once you complete your judging, once you complete your flight safety reviews, you all are free to leave or hang around and get to know other team members.
Or is that also when we do our team photo? I mean, the
No,
group
team
photo.
photo. The group photo is on Monday.
Monday.
Tuesday, right? Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, that is a good reminder, Steve. There'll be a group photo that'll be happening on Monday. So be sure to come on over, bring your country's flags, state flags, and a big smile and rockets.
Mhm. Perfect.
I guess that might be it. Well, that means IREC is here.
Oh, that's great. Mohit, thank you. That was really awesome.
Pack your bags.
All right. We'll see you in 10 days.
Oh boy.
See y'all very soon.
That sounds
All on
good.
Discord in the meantime.
Thank you all, and
All
thank you,
right.
Mohi. You did a phenomenal job. Thank you.
As
Yeah.
always. All right. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Hey,
Good night.
folks.
That was a record number.
That was a good number.
We had almost 200 attendees.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
buddy.
I'll see you on Discord or in another call soon.
Take care, sir.